Welcome, everyone, from near and afar. My name is Michael Boucher. I'm director of SFU Woodward's cultural programs here in Vancouver. We are celebrating actually the 9th anniversary of our relationship with DanceHouse. It's been a very rich experience. Speaking of Dance is dedicated to exploring the dance art form, its constant evolution. It's the work behind it, the artist behind it, the kind of themes, the kind of aesthetic exploration, the integration of technology. So it's a real world of exploring the evolution and how how dance speaks to our world today. And once again, it's been a very challenging time for all of us. So the international relationship with all of our countries to celebrate coming out of COVID, which will happen over time. So the sun is rising in that regard. But I want to, first of all, acknowledge that Canada has gone through a truth and reconciliation process. And as a result of that, and that was largely related to the residential school history in Canada and its terrible travesty. As a result of it, Canada's gone through a journey of recorrection on this, and we're into the 7th year of this report that completed itself. And now we're following through on how we best reconnect with our dear First Nations colleagues. And as a result of that, I'd like to acknowledge that we in Vancouver in particular sit within the context of the ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people, which includes the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and the Squamish. So we are very happy to be here, albeit virtually, and to be celebrating, working on with our partners and creating all together. So we look forward to a renewed relationship. I will not hold it anymore. I will pass the baton over to the wonderful Francesca, curator of Speaking of Dance for DanceHouse. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everyone. My name is Francesca Piscopo, and I'm the Artistic Associate and Community Engagement Coordinator at DanceHouse. It is my pleasure to introduce the artists that are taking part in the 2nd edition of Speaking of Dance Future Memory. All of them presented their work in the past on DanceHouse stage. Louise Lecavalier is here today from Canada, Montreal, who was in Vancouver with children, a few minutes of lock-in in November 2011. And she returned with the premiere of Fou Glorieux in January 2015 at the Faye and Milton Wong Theatre. And from Brazil, we have Rodrigo Pederneiras, Grupo Corpo choreographer and artistic director. Grupo Corpo performed at DanceHouse twice, first in April 2010 with Breu Parabello, and then in February 2020 with Danza Sinfonica and Gira. And Grupo Corpo was actually the last company the DanceHouse presented before the theater shut down because of the pandemic. The 3rd artist of this session is Stephen Page, Bangarra Dance Theatre choreographer. Unfortunately, Stephen was no longer be able to attend this event because they are surprisingly on tour. This time seems odd to talk about tour, and their touring schedule changed suddenly, so he cannot be here, but we will have the opportunity to listen to his insights in the pre-recorded video. Bangara is an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander company based in the Gadigal and Eora nations in Australia, Sydney. They performed in Vancouver in 2019, October, last season, with Spirit. In a few minutes, we are going to share a video with all the conversation that we had with these fantastic artists during the last few weeks. Please feel free to use the live chat box, the function on your side, to ask questions to the artist. At the end of the video, we will pick one or more questions for each of them, and they will be able to respond in person, virtually. Thank you so much, and I hope that you enjoy the video.
Hello, my name is Louise Lecavalier. I'm a dancer, choreographer. I'm in Montreal right now. I've been dancing for quite a number of years. I was for a long time with the company of Edward Locke, La 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 Human Steps. And since maybe 2006, I have my own company, Fou Glorieux. And I do my own choreography since maybe 10 years. Before that, I'd been working with other choreographers. And afterwards, I started my own works, like So Blue, Battleground, and now the last one, Station, that was presented just before COVID. It was in Europe, in Germany, at the beginning, in February 2020.
My name is Rodrigo Pederneiras. I'm Grupo Corpo's choreographer. I'm now in Belo Horizonte. I have just finished the rehearsal, and I'm right. I think I'm right to start the questions and answers.
Hello, everyone in Vancouver. My name is Stephen Page. I'm the Artistic Director of Bangarra Dance Theatre in Sydney, Australia. At the moment, we're on tour. This is our first tour in 11 months, getting back into theatres. And we're in a regional town called Griffith, which is sort of west of New South Wales, west of Sydney. And we all drove in a convoy about 6 hours. And this land is Wiradjuri land. And it's one of our biggest First Nations groups in New South Wales and Australia.
Memories of Vancouver. I have many, but one that I can tell that's very specific is the premiere of Human Sex that we performed in Vancouver. Usually the premieres are either in Montreal, and they were in Montreal for the first few creations of the company, but then we always did the creations outside from Montreal. It's less stressful. So usually it's in Europe, but one time it was in Vancouver. And this show was so demanding physically, but we didn't do full run-throughs of the pieces. We worked excerpts of it all the time because I think we kind of knew it was impossible to dance this all together. It was too much. And so we rehearsed. We're in the theater, and somebody cooks us something to eat, a very granola meal before a show, which was not the best idea. But anyway, I think it's good we had it because we would have been dead. And the show starts, and there's a trio of Marc Bellan, I think Claude Godin and me. So we go full energy for the opening trio. And right at the end of the trio, it was just 5 minutes, and there was 1 hour and 15 more minutes to go. I thought, I will die. I cannot dance a minute longer. But despite feeling this, we continued. And I was thinking, most of the audience must be thinking, let's get rid of this girl. She's always on stage. And it's just her all the time, a duet, a trio, a quatuor, she's always there. There was no break. And finally, we did the whole show. And I think people liked it a lot. It was a good show, but I don't know how we really perform it. But after the show, I thought I hid somewhere because I thought it's impossible I dance this ever again, a second day. And the next day there was a critic somewhere, I think it was Max Wyman, but I didn't read it the next day. I read it long time after. But once I read it, I thought, yeah, he saw right. He thought, this is impossible. She comes back for another show tomorrow. It was so violent for the body, not the movement themselves, but the accumulation of all these movements. And well, the second day I took a cold bath in the afternoon, really cold. And I could come perform a second night in Vancouver, and we could finally perform this show for 2 years. Or yeah, at least 2 years everywhere around the world. But each time we knew it was going to be really something hard, but it's never been as hard as the first night in Vancouver. And one day I met someone that was in the audience, and they saw the show maybe a few times afterwards, in other places. And they said the first evening in Vancouver is unbeatable because we really fought like warriors till the end.
Vancouver, good, 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 very good memories. I don't know, what can I say about Vancouver? It's a very, very interesting, really beautiful city. For me, it's important because the nature is inside Vancouver. You know, so many parks, but there are places for me were very interesting to know. I love markets. The Grenville Island Market, where I ate good, very, very good shrimps, and you go there by boat. No, by I think you call aqua bus. I think, yeah, it's small. Well, it's a very, very interesting place. I remember also good memories about the Stanley Park, where you can rent bicycles and turn around. There are plenty of good restaurants and beautiful bars, and so and people in Vancouver, and also it's never really cold like the other side, the east side, Toronto and Montreal. So I don't know, many places like that sometimes come to the memory, and I miss Vancouver. I have a very, very good friend from Vancouver for many years, named Susan. Good memories.
About 15 months ago, we arrived in Vancouver on October the 18th. And this was our first tour. This was our first tour, fully fledged tour through Canada. So from the west of Vancouver, and in Canada, we ended in Ottawa. And so it took about 6 to 7 years to plan this tour. And so we uprooted about 30 of us, including production, administration, 18 full-time First Nations dancers from all over the country. And we left Sydney, headed towards San Francisco, longest flight. We all forgot who we were when we arrived in San Francisco. I'm only joking. And then we arrived in Vancouver very late at night. So there's one thing I remember about immediately about Vancouver was arriving very late at night and very excited to see what it looked like once we hit the morning. Also, there's some great things in Vancouver, like it's our first show. We were very excited presenting Spirit. It was a collection of works that spanned over 30 years of Bangara's repertoire. And so we curated these little excerpts of works, and we wanted to present the perfect evolution, really, of Bangara's 30 years and performances. So we were, I wasn't nervous. Usually I get nervous putting shows on, and I was just excited because this tour took 7 years, and we were in Vancouver, and the 2 shows had sold out, or we heard on the street. We were also connecting with First Nations community, and we were very fortunate that the venue and our connections in Vancouver allowed Bangarra dancers and the company to connect the community through workshops. One of the best ways, I suppose, telling our stories and letting other countries know about our history is that tactile connection in workshops. And as much as our dancers were very excited to meet another World First Nations community and share stories, and you quickly realize how similar the cultures are. I mean, we're both Commonwealth nations, except for you have a treaty, we don't. So we're very jealous of that. But at the same time, we have sharing stories, sharing Black politics, sharing who we are, while we tell stories through dance. And it's a great medium for us to connect the Black perspective and that message. So the two performances in Vancouver were really exciting. And I think up to the first performance, there were a few little technical things we had to sort out, but the dancers just loved sharing the production spirit.
Learning lessons is such a funny way to say it. It's like school. This situation, the pandemic situation, I don't think it taught me a lesson, because many of these things were almost predictable. So I kind of knew something was coming. I didn't know it was going to be that. And I'm not a visionary because I knew that. I think it was evident there was problems. So for many years, I was already really aware of the situation of the planet. I don't know the words in English, climate and everything changes, and how we spoil the earth with so many in so many ways. And I was really wondering about even my own traveling to perform. This was things that I was questioning. So the thing doesn't come and give me a lesson. It's just that I see, yes, we must take care, and there's going to be other things that will happen if we don't change many things. And I'm not a very good spokesperson, because I don't like to be, well, besides when I dance, it's okay, but being in front of the audience talking, it's not my thing at all. So I try to do the most possible things by myself. And it seems ridiculous how small I am and how small the things I do are. But I hope that at least by doing this and being influential, maybe around me, to some people, it's already something, I hope. So the lessons, in a way, if we can call this lessons, I get them every day in many different ways, not just with the pandemic. Get this because I question how I behave. I question sometimes how others behave, but each time I question others, I come back to questioning myself. So in the end, I say, well, better work on yourself, and better work on everything you can do around yourself to make the environment a bit better, physically and mentally, and on all levels if possible. This pandemic, I think it's really, really sad for many people. Me, I was not so affected by it, because I can maintain my lifestyle pretty much, and my lifestyle is not very complicated. It's simple, but still it's good. I can eat the food I like, so that's pretty much, and I have a good place where to live. It's okay. So I'm sad for all the others that are not so well prepared and cannot survive the situation so well. But me, well, I lost 1 year of touring, so that's bad. But it's okay, because it will start again, and I maintain the shape because I like to maintain it and go to the studio and dance and search. Is what I do all the time, and I keep doing this. Usually there's periods of time where I'm in creation, and after that I tour a lot. So now it's kind of changes my system in a way, but maybe that's not bad. It's okay. It gives me time to reanalyze things and say how I'm going to tour now. I know already that this is change. I want less people with me, and I will try to be even doing a little bit more all the time to save little pieces of the planet.
I think the first and most important thing we learned was to be patient, because it's been a very, very hard moment. We stayed many months that we couldn't work, and now we are working with distance and with masks, things like that. But now we are still learning. Work with. I think every dance company is doing this now nowadays. Now is we are working with a video. We are learning to teach through internet, and we are learning to wait, to wait, to be able to work again, really work again, to go back to theaters with people in front of us. Is the most important thing for us, for all of the companies, I think. Important thing also, we cannot see friends. We cannot invite friends to our home, not to home, and we are not able to stay with them. No, and I have many friends also at the company, many dancers. We are really friends, many dancers and many people that work in administration, things like that, and we cannot stay together. No, it's sometimes it's hard when you cannot hug and kiss people you love, you want to. It's boring. It's a boring situation.
At the moment, we're all it's a different world now, isn't it? And we're all navigating our own way into this new world and through this, health scare that still continuing. And we're probably a little bit fortunate in Australia because we don't have as a bigger cases that are throughout Europe and especially through North America and through Canada. So one thing here that it's taught us all is to, because we, like I said before, we hadn't been into theatres for 11 months. We all went into lockdown late March last year. We were starting a new work, which takes about 10 weeks to create, and all the creative artists come together and working with our associate artistic director, Francis Rings, and we were doing a story from the Kimberleys. So we were about to start with this beautiful cultural creative blank canvas and start a work. And then we all went into lockdown, and it really gave the company time to look at itself. And one of the main things was finding your purpose in life. I think, we all individually assess ourselves and reset ourselves through this time. And you look at your immediate backyard and your family, and you look at what's important to you. And, we looked at the value of Bangara. It's the only major performing arts company in Australia that's First Nations. And we reflected who we were, and we realized how important the company was and the importance of storytelling, the importance that art is a great medicine. I know through these times we've all been putting on our digital platforms stories and music and connection, and then when you start telling stories through First Nation and the Black lens, there's something wonderfully healing about that. And I think we regained a strength, even though we were challenged by this COVID health scare and how it made us reflect. It also sparked our resilience as a company. So coming out the other end, but we're not really out of it yet. I mean, we're on tour, and obviously we're COVID safe, and we have an audience, and we're all responding to the health regulations. As I said before, we all convoyed in cars across Wiradjuri country, 6 hours. We have a show tomorrow night, and it's about a 490-seat theatre, and it's sold out, and we have a strong First Nations community here. So I think audiences are wanting that medicine, they're wanting that story. So we're thriving at the moment in terms of utilizing this time to reflect who we are, and also, yeah, to fuel that strength into our storytelling.
To me, it's a funny question, because dreams, I don't think I have. I think I spend too much time in the present. So my dreams are daily dreams, to have a good day, well, dancing if I go dancing that day, creating if it's creation that I want to happen in the studio, or rehearsal if it's the day where I do run-throughs or things like this. Can be highly satisfactory like this. So dreams. Well, sometimes I like to make up dreams and think, oh, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do that, but I never really hook to those ideas. I let them float, and if it's meant to happen, then it slowly invades me a little bit more, and things will make me go deeper into this direction, further, into this direction. I think in a way I'm afraid to have too specific dreams, because I like so much to enjoy what's happening in the day-to-day, that to have my head somewhere else, maybe it's not the best idea. Also, dreams, because I don't recall having any dreams that I saw realized, that would make me want to keep dreaming, and with hope that these dreams will happen. Because anything I did that I really enjoy, well, everything until now, loving, dancing, having kids, everything, they were not dreams, they just happened because I was present in situations, and because I loved people and dance. So I have more little hopes than big dreams. Like, I hope to stay in good shape. I hope that people around me are good. I hope this, for sure, better things for the whole planet. Like, the present is like a dream sometimes. And the dreams, when I have them, they are really when I'm sleeping, and I really love them, but it's something else. But it's not to say that my life is a full dream, like a princess thing, not at all, because this doesn't seem interesting so much. So no, I don't have specific dreams, but just keep to dance if it's possible, because I really like it. I still learn a lot with it. It evolved with times. So there's always new things to discover for me. So that's good. And that's plenty.
We were invited by Gustave Dudamel, the regent of LA Philharmonic, to create a new piece for them and with them. The whole orchestra, the LA Philharmonic, and also the whole company, 22 dancers. We should create a piece from an Argentine musician named Gina Stera. And the piece that Gustavo proposed for us was a piece named Estancia. It's a very, very, very important piece in the erotic music in Latin America. How I said, we needed to postpone it.
Our dreams for Bangara coming out of this, we're in the beginning of our 4th decade. This is my 30th year at the company. I'm getting very old. I've had lots of native Botox, you can tell. No, I'm only joking. Silly, I just become silly when I talk to you like this. That's okay. We're in the beginning of our 4th decade. And at the moment, Francis Ring's our associate director. And the work that we were about to create before we went into lockdown last year will start in about 2.5 weeks, called Sansong, Stories from the Great Sandy Desert. The Great Sandy Desert lies in the west top of Australia, a place called in the Kimberleys. Kimberleys, there's a lot of Aboriginal reserves, a lot of Aboriginal mob who were taken off their land, displaced from their land. Some sad massacre stories up that way. But this really is reflecting creation stories from the Wurundjeri people and nation. A great friend of ours, Ningli Lawford, who passed away a couple of years ago, always wanted us to be entrusted with the story from the Kimberleys. So the great thing this year is that we're able to work with Ningli Lawford's family, the community, the elders in Kimberleys. They will be the inspiration. That's going to be the big cultural injection that's going to inspire this bigger contemporary story. We open up in Sydney at the Opera House in June for a 6-week season. We're a reciting company at the Opera House. We're going to reclaim that land back and take over the Opera House in the future. And we will do that story, and we'll take that story around the country. So, you know, that's got to be the beginning of getting back out there after this climate, this health climate we've been in, connecting to a new relationship in the Kimberleys. That work will tour nationally this year to COVID-safe venues. Also, we're going to take that work back to the Kimberleys in 2022. Bangara, you know, we get entrusted with stories from all around the country, whether they be traditional creation stories, mythological inspired, or just urban, like social themes that we tackle in our work. So we, you know, our inspirations are quite diverse in our storytelling.
Thank you so much for this. It was great. And we had fun while we were doing it. So we have a few questions in the live chat. I would like to start with a question for Louise. So I will invite the attendees to keep writing questions because we can continue to question. And you can see also the websites of Louise and Grupo Corpo and Bangarra Dance Theatre on the live chat. So first question. So Louise, you have a lot of fans. And Faith is asking, so my question is, where can one find your work if we don't have the opportunity to see you live, hopefully someday? I'm hoping for recordings or DVD. And the main point is, it's about the limited accessibility of dance works. So especially in COVID times, how dance can be shared in these days?
Oh, you mean dance in general or my things? Or
well, I think the Faith is really interested in your dance, but dance in general as well.
Well, I think I cannot answer very well this question for dance in general. I have access to a few things on internet. So I've been watching more things than usual on internet for dance, but even not so many. I don't know, it's easier for me to dedict myself to go see a show live than to squeeze my schedule to sit in front of my computer to watch something. So I've been missing some shows that were presented on internet and I didn't see them. But to see my works, really, there's not so many things. I don't know how to get them. There's the film that's called Sur son cheval de feu that I did 2-3 years ago with Raymond Saint-Jean in Montreal, and it must be accessible somewhere. It's called Sur son cheval de feu. So there's a little film I did with a young boy for Dutch filmmaker, Woodward. So this, I think you find on internet. There's some things that I don't even have myself that can be only found on internet. Like, for example, the show Human Sex that I was mentioning about that I premiered in Vancouver so many years ago. This, there is a captation and it's somewhere on internet. People have seen it. So there's that. And now I just did a little 15 minutes dance for television for Télé-Québec. It's going to be presented on the 19th of March, I think. So this was really fun to do because, well, I had the chance to do some shows just before the pandemic, the new big show station. And then I did it again in Munich in October. So that was very lucky. And I had a little project in the summer in Montreal. It was dancing outside. So it's not much, but it was something. And now to do this little film where I reworked excerpts of So Blue, of a solo, to make a 15-minute dance, but at least different from So Blue. So that's what I really enjoyed. So this will be accessible in March.
Okay, great. So you have many choices for Faith. And I'm curious because, I mean, many artists have different opinion with respect to the digital realm, right? There are people that are very, very sad of sharing things just digitally, and they can wait to get back to the theater, and people that are taking advantage of this opportunity because it's a new creative way. I wonder what is your point of view on this matter?
I think it can be a very creative thing, and it can be very interesting. Some kind of artworks are more easily matched with filming and internet fast presence. I think my dancing is not so easily transferred in film because I still move a lot. And when you move a lot, the camera has tendency to move a lot too, and it becomes too much information. So I'm getting to know more and more how to do with this, like especially the last thing I did with the François Blouin in Montreal. We discussed a lot because I had many offers of project for filming my last piece or other piece before, and I resisted this a lot because I know it's not so easily done, and there must be a great connection between the réalisateur, the one who makes the film, and the choreographer, because the filmmaker is creating a choreography also. So when the choreography is really very rich of movement, you have to analyze really how you're going to film it. Although I like a simple captation, I mean, just filming a show like this, I can really appreciate it, but maybe it's not for the interest of the majority of people. Dance people can really like it, and some people with very used with artwork, but for the general public, maybe it's a bit too hard to look at something simply filmed with a wide angle. So I'm questioning this a lot. And anyway, I was thinking about this before the pandemic to go more into films of dance, because I didn't want to tour so much because I was questioning the touring and all this, and the airplanes and all this stuff. But I think to survive as an artist, not with money, but I mean, creator, I need to do both, because I've been dealing with the stage for so many years, and that I cannot just veer towards film and think, well, I'm going to be totally satisfied. I like the live shows very much because it's a special zone. I mean, where I am when I dance, but also when I go see other people present shows. Sometimes I enjoy 5 minutes or 10 minutes of a show, but these 10 minutes are absolutely precious. They will follow me forever. But in a film, it's different. Sometimes some videos can really touch me, but it's not the same way. It's not so close. It's not getting to my skin.
Yeah, there is something magic in a live performance. Though I have to say that there are films that really get into a different dramaturgy that are very creative. But yeah, I think that we all miss being there, you know, all together in the darkness.
The dark, yeah.
And enjoy the experience. Thank you, Louise. So I think that we have another question, this time for Rodrigo. Someone commented I love how Rodrigo, can you turn your camera on, Rodrigo, please? Hi, Rodrigo. Technology. Someone commented, I love how Grupo Corpo reimagines ballet and modern dance repertoire. What are some new influences that are pushing the work forward? What are the influences for your work lately? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Hi.
Hi. So, in the 80s, I used to travel to create pieces almost just using ballet technique. In the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, I started to think what could be a kind of Brazilian dance. I know we have a tropical, a special way to move. I feel that is a kind of sensuality in the way to walk, to dance in Brazilian people. And I try to start to how do I say, to cavar, to dig this in our backyard. And we started to find treasures, incredible treasures. So we started to slowly mix many kind of popular dances, Brazilian popular dances, also Indian dancers, with the classic technique we were normal for us, you know? And so we've been working in these for, you know, for 30 years, no, about 40 years. And it came slow. And I think with the time, we started to create a kind of special mark, no, special kind of ID, no? And because it's very special, the way of Brazilian people to move. And we really go forward to find many ways of many regions, different regions, south, northeast, north of Brazil. And Brazil is a continent, no? And we have millions kind of different ways to move. But there is one thing very important, I think. I said we have a very special way to move. Almost all of popular dances, Brazilian dances, the movement start at the hips. No, I think it gives to the movement a very essential way to, you know, to if you start with the hips, the hips for me is the line of the tropical line of the body, you know. And if you start with the hips, all of the body respond, you know, answer to this kind of movement. And we started to do this kind of thing, you know? I don't know. We're still trying after 45 years.
Definitely, you have your own vocabulary as a Grupo Corpo, pretty structured and pretty unique. And yeah, I agree with you that Brazilian people has a specific way to move. And this makes me feel to a question for you, just a question. So Brazilian people not only enjoy dancing, but also watching dancing. And with the COVID pandemic, you cannot go to the theater. And there is a question from the audience, say, the COVID-19, the impact, regarding the impact of the COVID-19 in your future work, and the idea of public restriction and a post-vaccine liberation. So how do you imagine that? So how it will be in Brazil after, we go through all this, and your connection with the audience? It will be different? It will be the same than before the pandemic, for example?
I think it would be very, very different. No, we are still learning to you were talking about new tools, to work. We are learning to do these. You and Louise were. I'm your fan, Louise.
Me too. Me too. Really.
I'm really your fan. You have here a big fan.
I've seen Grupo Corpo twice, and I really love this company.
Thank you.
Really.
Thank you very much. But we are learning to do, because when you create something for a theater, you have one kind of space. You have the black box. You have people in front of you, and we have many videos, for example. But the pieces were created for theaters, for stage, and we try to film this, and we have here a video from this piece, but it was not really did for a video, and for me are two very different things. We are trying to learn to create things. We all, I think, we all that around the world, we are trying to learn to create things specifically for videos. And I say the choreographers, and I don't know if I like too much. I really love theater. I really love the ambience, the surrounding you have when you are in on stage, and I don't know. We have many things made, filmed. Many pieces filmed. We have it a lot, but not specifically created for video. And I think when the all of this crazy situation finished, we are gonna see the world, the creation with another eyes, with a different eyes, I think. Most wise.
Yeah. Okay. I hope so. Thank you, Rodrigo.
Thank you.
And one more question for Louise. So let's talking about young artists, young choreographer. So definitely, I mean, you will be an example for many of young choreographers that don't have a lot of opportunity this time. So a question from the audience is how you feel that you can support in these times, but also in the future, or what you did in the past, young choreographer, just with some advice or just with some idea.
Advice I never like to give. And I think I shouldn't take too much on my shoulders, because if I don't express and communicate enough with my dancing, and especially now I'm choreographing my own work, so everything that is important for me on so many levels is there. I try to put it there. I mean, or I think it's there, even if I try or not in my work. So I cannot be the support for the young choreographers. They don't need my support. They need maybe that we continue to perform and create and question. And I do this, I think. So I've never been lazy. And I think if you don't want people to be lazy, you have to be not lazy yourself. And you don't have to tell them, don't be lazy. They just see you're not lazy on all levels, on physical, on mental, on spiritual, because dance it's all of this. So I cannot give general advice to people. Even one-to-one advice is difficult, because if people ask me in a day-to-day advice, either about dance or about their life, it's scary to give an advice, because how do I know if I'm giving the right one? So I'm challenged by the young people. Not all of them, but some of them, that I like very much the work, and even sometimes I don't understand, and it challenges me also. So I hope I do this for them too. So that's my only way of helping.
I'm sure you are. And I like this idea that you are yourself an energetic example, right? That you can support them without words, just exchanging energy during a creation, or just
sharing shows or
shows.
Yeah, and if not, I see some dancers when I get in a studio and they out, and the vibe is good. So yeah. I think there's appreciation on both sides. Even if there's people I don't even know, I see they're different from me, and I'm curious about them even without seeing yet what they will create. That's an energy that circulates, and it gets to me, and I'm sure I get to them. It's very simple connection, body connection, space connection, and all things that we don't believe in so much. We believe in the words connection, but there's many other ways.
They are equally important. And we have just a few last minutes, probably 3, before they cut me. So, and you can reply, you can answer just if you want, because I'm sure that thousands of people have asked you to tell an anecdote of your experience dancing with David Bowie. Thousands, I'm sure. So if you don't want to talk about this, we are okay. Or if you have an anecdote, it's okay.
It's funny because I should expect this question all the time, and I wonder how I never expect it.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes there's so many things that goes through my head. Now the question, I'm too much with you in another question, so I don't have something about him coming right away. But if I have things coming about him, it's so many, and that is hard to tell a story. I told one story once on a big TV show, and it was a huge success. It was a little joke that he wanted me to tell him right before he got on stage, so that was funny, but I'm not going to tell it again. I have, one little story, because I know Ted Robinson is probably listening. Oh yeah, it makes me emotional, which is rare. I mean, rare for television. But I went to see a show of David. It's after we worked together. It's many, many years. He was at the Centre Bell in Montreal. And I had a few tickets and I went with Ted, and 2 other friends were sitting somewhere else. And I sat watching the show, and you'll think I have a big ego to say that, but I thought he was singing just for me. And maybe everybody thinks this in the audience. But Ted, at a certain point, David said, he started to speak about me, but I didn't know it was me yet. But I was in some kind of video up there. And at some point I realized, oh, he was looking for me in the audience. And he said, Louise, are you there? And then every blonde girl in the place started screaming, yes, it's me. And at that time, I had my keys in my hand, long hair, darker, my natural hair. And I thought, I'm not going to stand up and say I'm here. And Ted was like, she's there, she's there. But he said, then he didn't find me. He said, oh, I guess she's not here. But what the beautiful thing was how I felt during the whole show, that he was just connected with me. But what was the best was Ted Robinson telling me the whole way through the show, I thought there was just you and him, because he was sitting next to me and he felt that too. So that was one of the many fantastic moments with David. But I just have good stories with him, more than good.
This is an amazing memory, actually. I'm so glad that you shared it with us, because it doesn't happen very often. Thank you. Thank you, Louise. I think we are done. Yeah. So thank you so much, both Rodrigo and Louise and Stephen. It's a pity that he couldn't attend, but it was very, very inspiring to have those conversations with you. And thank you to all our attendees for attending this second and last part of Future Memories. So please join us again in the future for other Speaking of That series that will be online and hopefully very soon in person here in Vancouver. And I hope we will be able to present your show both in Vancouver soon. And
in Montreal for Grupo Corpo also.
Yes.
I hope.
I love Montreal. I love Montreal.
It's the East.
I'm sure that it will happen soon.
Génial.
Thank you so much, and have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Ciao. Bye-bye.